Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Inner Conquest, the world's greatest modern metaphysics channel. So, what we're going to be doing today is lesson number 3 in the 12 Qualities of Mind series. So, today is James the Just, or righteous judgment. The lesson is be a wise judge by seeing others and yourself through the lens of love and forgiveness. If you want to practice this with an exercise, practice revising an interaction where you felt wronged. Imagine the person acting in harmony and kindness instead. So, when you have unconditional love, right? What that means is that unconditional love is not being woo-woo or airy-fairy or feeling good all the time, right? Unconditional love is a power source that creates everything. So when you think of source, right, and you think of it as unconditioned, unconditional love means that source basically builds everything in the universe, right? So that source of energy is indiscriminate in what it can manifest or build, right? Like if I have an idea, the same energy will propel and physicalize that idea that it will for you, right? So it doesn't put limitations or conditions on what can be expressed and or created. So when you have unconditional love, the way that you destroy that is by putting a condition and or a limitation on it, right? So if you have a condition or a limitation, you deharmonize that unconditional love and essentially distort it to make it to where it can only be expressed through a condition which is in of itself not accurate to the nature of unconditioned love, right? So when we look at things where somebody says something or we have a reaction to it, or maybe it's not exactly the way we want it, a good example would be like an SP. So if an SP comes up and you hear them say something that is not favorable to you, right? Like not in alignment with the version of them that you would like, what you would do is you would go into your fourth dimensional mind space and you would rehash that scene or rehash that experience as if they were lovingly telling you what you would deem in alignment with the version of them that you want to experience. Because when you have everyone as you pushed out, drilled through your brain, everything is really a reflection of you to some extent, because when you have an energy or an electromagnetic field around you that is calibrated on a frequency level by the thoughts, mental movies, emotions that you entertain, you're syncing up through law of attraction things that are in harmony to that field, right? So you want to take responsibility for everything that shows up because you are populating the field of information within which you dwell through the thought forms, belief systems, emotions, and assumptions that you have, right? And that is really directing and controlling the universe, because when you have things that want to control you, what they will do is they will try to hijack your power to create that, right? That's why evil can't create anything. It can only repurpose, distort, and destroy. So when you take responsibility for your creative expression and for your participation in creating the reality at large, what that does is that also simultaneously implies that you are powerful, right? Because if you have the power to create negative situations, then by the same token, you also have the power to create favorable situations. So whenever something happens that is deemed unfavorable or goes against unconditional love, right? Like a judgment, not a big deal. Just revise it. Just understand that that is something in your energy field that's syncing you up with that. And by changing the inner dynamics, you're going to change that calibration frequency set point so that you no longer have to experience it, right? Nothing is permanent. And the only thing that keeps things permanent is by reacting and re-energizing constructs, right? But the second that you become indifferent to any type of ailment or any type of symptom of a problem, you begin to slowly kill that symptom or that problem, because it's relying on hijacking your internal world building capabilities to create that and manifest that through you. Think about it like this, right? If you have a thought that insidiously gets in your mind that you are not good enough, right? Does that thought have the power to make you not good enough? Or is that thought trying to trick you into focusing on it and energizing it so that that thought becomes a reality for you through your own power? It's the latter, right? It's trying to get you to think that you're something that you're not, and then hijack your energy and then physicalize and create that reality by leeching and using your power, right? So when you have different things that are playing out in your reality, when you judge them as something, you're casting a ballot to create them that way, right? It's like having a loaded gun that can either, shoot good stuff out of it or kill people, right? Like if you judge something as harsh, you're actually putting a template on that thing and categorizing and confining it to that thing. Unconditional love, right? It just is what it is. It builds, and then you have total freedom of expression of how you want to build and how you want to be. But the second that you say, nope, this is bad and this will always be bad and can never be bad or can never be good, see how it constrains and limits and basically mangles the unconditionality of that type of thing. So when you have something that you're judging or doing any type of negative perception towards, you just want to understand that through that perception, you are warping that thing. You're cutting off that thing's ability to express unconditionally in your reality. And the reason that you want it to express unconditionally is because if you have unconditional love, then it means you have unlimited possibility, which means that you can select the possibility that you want from the field of information that suits you best. So if you have somebody who's showing up like an asshole and you go, oh, this person's an asshole, they'll always be an asshole, they can never change, you've locked in that possibility, and at least in your experience, they can't change, right? It's like if you have a spouse, right, who hates their husband and they're always fighting, but then she goes or he goes out with their friends and they're like a totally different person. Because internally they have these judgments that lock them into that bandwidth frequency pattern that neither of them can break apart of. So when you release that judgment, what you do is you basically pull off the conditions of what you've claimed that to be and allow it to be something else. Additionally, when you look at forgiveness is essentially forgetfulness. So if you have active vibrations in your field of information that are unwanted, right? So say you have like a poverty vibration or a sickness vibration, right? When you forgive that, what that really means is that you forget that. And when you forget something, what you do is you don't consciously pay attention to it. You don't subconsciously give it any information or any attention either. And what that does is it brings back to the point, indifference is the knife that cuts and feeling is the tie that binds. If you completely forget something, you do not have access to it in your now moment because it's completely out of your field of information. If somebody wrongs me, but I completely forget about it, right? And they come up to me and they're like, hey, dude, I'm so sorry about what happened. I'm like, dude, I don't even remember what happened, right? That has not been plaguing my energy field at all because it's been completely forgotten as if it never happened. When you truly forgive, you truly forget, meaning that you completely forget what happened. Not like, still hang on to a little bit of this or want some resolution. It's like it never even happened. And this is extremely powerful because if something's bugging you or something's irking you, if you completely forget about it, you don't have any type of vibrations that are chronically activated within your field pertaining to that situation that can be reactivated through your attention and then also bring in through law of attraction similar people, places, and circumstances to match it. So by forgetting it, you completely kill the source of all the unwanted things in your reality, right? That's why if you have something that's bothering you and it keeps trying to get your attention, it keeps trying to get that emotional reaction, right? It wants that irking because it wants to rebind with you. It wants that new type of union where you react to it, you get energized, and now you're stuck to it again, and then you got to go through the whole process. So day 3, James the Just. Remember, there are 12 aspects of mind. The goal with every aspect of mind is it starts off super undisciplined and you get it disciplined to where it works in your favor 100% of the time, no exceptions. It's like having a bunch of mobsters and you turn them into a Roman legion, right? Like that's what you're doing with your mind. You're taking every single aspect, every sector of it that's bullshit and wily and not doing what you want, and then you're training that every single day through selecting objectives, whether it be financial, health wise or relationship wise, and you're conquering these objectives through disciplining these aspects of mind, right? And what you'll find is you'll choose an objective, and one or all 12 of these qualities of mind will begin to betray you. And what you'll understand is like, oh shit, my mind is like fucked up, but that's okay because everyone's is fucked up. And then you start to work on, number one is the rock, right? You work on only hearing what is in alignment with your dream, right? Then you go to Andrew, which is persisting until the end, meaning that if you have a fourth dimensional reality or an imaginative act, you see that as a truth and you do not accept anything until that physicalizes in your reality. See, so you start to build these stepping stones to where every aspect of your mind is now laser focused and completely under your control. And what happens is goal achievement, reality creation, law of assumption, law of attraction just become a way of life where you are now what is called unconsciously competent at using your mind, meaning that your mind is in its original templated state, meaning that your mind is not distorted. Your mind is able to act and create at your beck and call. You become the Lord of Scripture, right? You have access to the Christ, which is your wonderful human imagination. Below the Christ are the 12 disciplines, the 12 disciplined aspects of mind, which execute on the Christ's behalf. So now you have your conscious in alignment, you have your mind focus, and you have all of your tools sharpened in such a way that you can really go conquer. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave comments of videos that you would like to see. Additionally, the link tree has all the coaching. If you want to do one-on-one type of jams, feel free to click that link tree. And the most important thing I have to say today is go conquer, and I'll see you in the next one.